Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 5-Star Joshi Show here on the Fight Game Media Network and, of course, my YouTube channel, as always. Now, I am your host, Scott Edwards, and we have a packed show here today, as you can see with the uh, thumbnail. Like, this is a packed show, and I'm very excited to talk about this week of Joshi because this is why I love doing this show. There is something to talk about from seemingly every promotion imaginable. We have four major show previews. Kind of five. We have one match from one of them, but over this next week or so, Joshi is taking center stage, something that they've been doing, mind you, all year long. And that is why this podcast is here, so that I can do my best to keep each and every one of you up to date on everything we have going on. But before we kind of get to everything we have, I'm very excited to just talk about the world of Joshi so far. It's been a banner year through 2.5 months. We are seeing matches of the year Monday after Monday after Monday. We have another one this past Monday. We are seeing stories that are grabbing our attention and bringing us in. And we are just continuously seeing the best wrestling in the world take it all and be the very best. So, that's why I'm so excited to do this episode today. Obviously, we're on the retirement roads of multiple wrestlers as well, so we'll kind of touch on where they are right now. But like I said, we have big shows today. We're going to be talking the Stardom Cinderella Tournament, the review from this past weekend, and the upcoming finals this weekend. We are going to be talking about the Sendai Girls Yogi Show, which is next Wednesday. We're going to be talking about VII versus Yumiko Hodo inside a steel cage. We're going to be talking about TJPW Grand Princess 2025. Arguably their biggest show of the year. It depends if you pick that or Wrestle Princess. Either way, a stacked card by them as well. Marigold had a big time Shinjuku face show this week that really ended with the big cliffhanger that creates a lot of excitement for them. Like I said, everything in Joshi is working. Everything in Joshi is moving forward, and that's why it's so exciting. So sit back, relax, and as we always do here on this show, let's deliver some of the best Joshi talk in the world today. Here we go. Starting, of course, with the wonderful world of Stardom. Stardom has been on such an unbelievable run this year. And when I say unbelievable, I mean I don't think they're ever going to stop. That's how unbelievable it feels like. They have not one, not two, not three, but four pay-per-views in the stretch of 2 weeks, one this past weekend, one this upcoming weekend, and two next week. That is the role they're on. That is the role Stardom is moving at. That is where they are in this wonderful world right now. That's the excitement for me, is because we are watching them hit at this rate. Is everything perfect? No. But is everything exciting? Pretty much, yeah. And that's why I love talking Stardom right now. So let's get to it. Kind of outside of Stardom. So what we're going to do is, because they had so much involvement outside, we're going to review those matches first. Outside of Sareee-ISM, we'll save that for everyone in a bit after Stardom. But we did have Stardom's involvement at Barb Sasaki's 25th anniversary show, Crazy Fest, beginning with this awesome trios match. This was Mayu Iwatani, Hazuki, and Captain Stardom Saida, dressed up in the full bodysuit with the mask. Incredible. Wrestling Azumi, Starlight Kid, and May Sarah in a bring your own weapon falls count anywhere match. This was, in a way, everything Stardom and Showcase was supposed to be, but one, not pushed throughout an entire show, which I think was the biggest problem with Stardom and Showcase, and two, I mean, you look at these 6 wrestlers, you're gonna expect some greatness. This had, honestly, to me, everything you could have asked for from this type of match. It had the silliness, it had the goofiness, it had May Sarah cutting the sword of Sareee in half with a real sword. Like, that was incredible. It had great, legitimate wrestling between Mayu Iwatani and May Sarah in the closing stretch. It had Hazuki with, having the Corkin crowd rocking for her, which was awesome to see. Like, Ida was just so great. Osmond was so great. Everything was so great about this match. Is it going to be on your match of the year list? Probably not. But is it going to be one of my favorite matches of the year? Yeah, it is. You know why? Because it was the most fun I've had watching wrestling in quite some time. Legitimately loved this match. In an odd way, it continues the wrestler of the year run that Starlight Kid is on. We'll talk a little bit more about Starlight Kid here in a bit. But yeah, this show was so much fun, so enjoyable, and that was just the first part of the two-part Stardom involvement, because then, of course, we had the no DQ TLC death match between Rina Yamashita and Suzu Suzuki. Suzu Suzuki returning to her old home of violence. And as she said, this was her favorite day of her wrestling career. You could tell. It's crazy to think that there's emotion before the match. You kind of expect emotion to happen especially when you're going to a death match where it's going to be so violent and you're going to, really be putting your life on the line. That's what these matches are. They're scary, but they're exciting and they're exhilarating. And that's why Sue Suzuki has always said she loves them so much. But you could see there was emotion there to return to what she once believed would be her entire career, right? And then she ultimately signed with Stardom and things have gone differently. But Deathmatch has her heart, and you could tell here she was back in her comfort zone. Her and Rina Yamashita tore it down in the semi-main event. It's gonna be hard to outdo the main event of this show, but this was really all you could ask for from Suzu Suzuki and Rina Yamashita. Suzu and Rina both busted themselves open. Like, this was everything you kind of wanted to see for Suzu in her return to the deathmatch scene. She felt alive. She felt excited. She's already off to an incredible year this year, but Suzu Suzuki feels like she's having fun again, just overall in wrestling, and that's wonderful to see. Rina Yamashita ultimately won the match, and I meant to say Mayu won the previous match with the moonsault, but Rina Yamashita did win this match. But honestly, there was no winner and loser in this. This was just a winner all around, especially for Suzu, who got to return. And shouts out to Barb, by the way, for putting this great show together. That's the best ref in wrestling right there. We love Barb Sasaki. He refed every single match, and he just, he clearly loves every second of it. So this was great. Well worth your time if you haven't checked it out yet. Next up, we, of course, had Mercedes Moné versus Momo Watanabe at AEW Revolution. Like I said, we're getting through all the outside matches besides Sareee-ISM, from non-Joshi only shows, of course. And this was Momo Watanabe stepping into, I think, over 11,000 in the building at the Staples Center in Los Angeles, facing the TBS champion Mercedes Moné. In terms of biggest matches, this is the biggest stage she's wrestled on. I don't know if it's the biggest match of her career from a personal level. I'll never know because she's in a heel gimmick, but this meant a lot to her. And hearing the Los Angeles crowd cheer for her, listen, they took some time to get the crowd into it, but once they did, the crowd was invested. I thought Momo looked fantastic in this match, as she often does. It's always a great reminder by Momo Watanabe that she is one of the best in the world, and she's been one of the best in the world since she was a teenager. She's only 25 years old now. She continues to set the bar of how truly great she is in the ring. And her and Mercedes Moné, I thought, hit a home run. I thought they had a very good match here. kind of what you hope for on a card that was as stacked as it was, and it's just a credit to Momo. But the bigger conversation is this: when will it be time for Momo Watanabe to do more in Stardom? Because this was her fourth major loss over the past year. It started at All-Star Grand Queendom 2024 when she lost in the main event against Micah to lose the World of Stardom Championship. You fast forward to Capital Collision in August. She lost a match against Mercedes Moné for the New Japan Strong Women's Championship. You go to Historic Crossover 2024. She lost in one of the best matches all year to Mayu Iwatani for the IWGP Women's Championship. And then, of course, fast forward to this match, and she comes up short for the TBS Championship. That's 4 major titles, 4 title losses. When do we give in? When is the time Momo Watanabe finally breaks out? My thought process here is that it has to be this year. There's a beautiful story for Stardom to tell, and I've seen people throw this around. And I said it at the start of my predictions at the beginning of the year that Momo Watanabe would turn babyface this year. That's only part of the story. The second part of the story, because of the connection she has with Saya and how Saya eventually turned to the bad side, is Momo Watanabe being the woman to dethrone Saya Kamitani for the World of Stardom Championship. That can be Stardom Dream Queendom 2025 after a 5-star Grand Prix win. It can be whenever you want, but I do think, again, assuming Tam Nakano's losing and everything, but I do think, and I think Saya Kamitani should be holding this title probably till Stardom Dream Queendom. But if you do think that Momo Watanabe deserves more, like myself, and I have for years, this feels like the perfect time. Change needs to be made after so many shortcomings, right? 4 shortcomings. We started to see it in that historic crossover match, right? She didn't want to use the bat to beat Mayu Iwatani, and that ultimately cost her in the end. But it was the first sign of maybe Momo Watanabe has some good left in her. You fast forward to this loss, and it feels like a loss that Stardom can use in her return. You came up short again. And I think there should be serious belief if Stardom, if Taro Okada, if whoever is listening thinks they need, or not thinks, but wants a major story that works post Tam Nakano and Sayaka Kamitani. Sayaka Kamitani and Momo Watanabe feels like it. I don't know if that's the direction they go, but I'd love it to be the direction they go, because Momo Watanabe continues to again prove she's the very best in each and every opportunity. Next up, we now go to, of course, the Cinderella Tournament. The Cinderella Tournament has got to our final 4. To our final 4 before I could review a single show. But we're going to talk about it here. We're going to talk about the show on Saturday, the show on Sunday. The show on Saturday was, of course, the Yokohama Budokan. 1,037 in attendance for the show. It involved 8 tournament matches on the card, including what I thought was 2 very good matches overall. Actually 3 very good matches on the card overall. There was also just, a lot of matches. And it's a reminder of where the Cinderella Tournament is, which I'm going to talk about here in a second, where I think we can continue to evolve this tournament, because I don't think the Breakout Tournament is a bad thing whatsoever. I just think the way we do it now, we have an opportunity to make this a one-night spectacle once again. But let's talk about it. We'll go through the Saturday show. Rana Yagami advanced out of the first round by defeating Akira Kuragane, and that was followed by Rina defeating Yuri Hime to advance as well in 8 minutes 11 seconds. Just real quick on those 2 matches, I thought Rina again was a star. You continuously watch Rina and you wonder how long they're gonna wait, right? How long until they want to pull the trigger and give her the Wonder of Stardom Championship. And when you watch her performances, of course, coming off of the match of the year, I thought of her and Starlight Kid, you just ask yourself, can they wait that long? She continues to step up. She continues to shine. This time, doing so with the rookie Yuria Hime. There was a five-way match. Yuvia defeated Fuki Death, Koguma, Meisera, and Waka Tsukiyama in 4 minutes and 53 seconds. Then there was just a really good three-way tag team match with Suzuki and Saida defeating Siriano and Yuna Mizumori, as well as Azumi and Suzu Suzuki. This was 8 minutes of nonstop action. Just a really good tag match that, listen, if you're only watching the tournament matches, you missed it. But this was, I think, worth your time. So if you want to consider something from the show, that's one of the two matches that aren't tournament to consider. Then we had two more tournament matches. Azusa Naba successfully defeated Rian in 8 minutes and 3 seconds to advance in the tournament. And Tabata, as I had predicted, defeated Hina to advance and presumably getting herself a future of Stardom title shot. This match wasn't all too great. It's very clear that you have two young competitors working with one another, but they'll have a chance to run it back, obviously, I'm sure, for the future of Stardom Championship, maybe at New Blood or something of the sort. So we'll have to wait and see there. Mayu Iwatani and Momo Kogo defeated God's Eye, Saki Kashima, and Syuri. Obviously, that is important for what happens on the next day, which we'll get to here in a second. Back to the Cinderella tournament. Listen, I know what happens when I make Cinderella tournament predictions. They don't go well. They never do. I told you that in my prediction video with String 6 Splash when we were both picking. I had more hope in his than I did my own. And it's because Sayaka Kurara defeated Ruaka to win the first round match between the two and advance. A lot of people believe Sayaka Kurara was kind of destined to win this before we knew what the loser leave Stardom stuff turned into with Tam and Saya. Then some people backed off, myself included. And I went with Ruaka. Listen, I like to go ballsy picks, and I also like to admit, and I say this every year, I said this last year, I'll say it again. I like to make picks that aren't the favorites so that favorites can actually win. Because when I was picking the favorite, Starlight Kid, a few years ago, she got eliminated in the first round. So you're welcome, everybody. I'd like to just get a little credit for being terrible at predicting the Cinderella tournament, as I often is. But Sayaka Kurara won, getting Ruaka eliminated via over the top rope. Then Miyu Amasaki defeated Lady C in 2 minutes and 34 seconds. That was kind of a bit of a shock. I thought they would have given them a bit more time to maybe tell their Queen's Quest story of sorts, but that was not the case. Then you had Maika and Mina Shirakawa defeat Natsuko Tora and Tekla by disqualification. Did not really love this at all. But it does bring us to the upcoming Mina Shirakawa versus Tekla match this upcoming weekend, which we'll talk about here in a second. Then we had Aya Sakura and Hanako go to a 15-minute time limit draw. I think my one take on this is that they just, and this is kind of where the new rules come into play. Bumping the time up to 15 minutes always felt right and reasonable when it wasn't a breakout style tournament, right? When you had the Hazukis and the Azumis and, the top talent in the damn tournament. But now it feels a little bit long. Now, none of the matches really made it that far besides this one, but I think this would have just felt better and less, or wouldn't have felt it felt long. Sometimes 15-minute matches don't feel long. We're gonna talk about a 30-minute match that did not feel long. This felt a bit long. So that hurt it a little bit. But I do think Aya and Hanako are able to connect pretty well against one another. They have a good rivalry budding here. So I had no problem with I did have a problem with the draw because I wanted Aya Sakura to advance and I wanted Aya Sakura versus Usanaba, but I don't get my way. But I didn't have an ultimate problem with the idea of doing a draw in the first round. I just wish it wasn't the 15 minutes now. This would have been nice to have the 10 minutes, but it's fine. And then you had the best match of the tournament, probably. It was Hanan defeating Tomoka Inaba, 10 minutes and 19 seconds, continuing her chance of going back to back. I thought the main event was very good between Konami and Sayaka Kamitani defeating Starlight Kid and Tam Nakano. It set up Konami as kind of a killer heading into that match with Starlight Kid. Now let's get to the Korea show in Aichi. This was on the Sunday, 678 in attendance. You had the quarterfinals matches here. So because Aya Sakura and Hanako went to a time limit draw, it opened the door for Azusa Naba to go right into the semifinals, as you can see here on the bracket. But just to, if you didn't watch it, giving you the idea. The show opened with Mayu Iwatani, Momoko Saida defeating Aya Sakura, Tam Nakano, and Yuna Mizumori. I thought this was a fun 10-minute, 45-second opener. But the most important story here was after the match. Wingori, Saida, and Hanan laid down the challenge to their stars teammates, Mayu Iwatani and Momo Kogo, to go head to head in tag team action for the Goddesses of Stardom Championships next week in Okinawa on the Saturday show. And they, of course, accepted. So, yeah, I'm celebrating the fact we are getting a Mayu Iwatani championship match. And I'm even more celebrating it because it's a Wingori championship match as well. I expect this to be a big time showcase for Momo Kogo, who they've been trying to build up and give a big spot to. So it could be a very emotional match. But Peach Rock will challenge for the tag belts next week in Okinawa. I'm excited for that. Due to not having to compete, Azusa Naba defeated Kira Kuragane in singles action, 9 minutes and 37 seconds. Hanako defeated Yuri Hime in 7:49. Then you had God's Eyes, Syuri, Tomoki Inaba, Saki Kashima, Hina defeating EXV's Maika, Miyashiro, Ryan, and Waka Tsukiyama. To the 3 Cinderella tournament matches, and really why we're here. Rina defeated Tabata in 7 minutes 40 seconds to advance to her first semi-final Cinderella appearance, as you'd expect. And then Hanan defeated Miyu Amasaki in 7 minutes and 19 seconds. I thought this was quite good as well. Another very good match from Hanan. Hanan might go down as just the best, like, in-ring Cinderella wrestler. Like, she's just very good at the Cinderella style matches, I've realized. Obviously, she had an incredible run last year, and she's having a very good run this year. And now her and Rina will meet in the semifinals. And honestly, I don't think there's a bigger match you could have booked in this tournament. And that's as big as it gets. That's as exciting as it gets. It'll be fascinating to see how that obviously goes. And then the ultimate underdog continued her run. Sayaka Kurara defeated Rana Yagami in 11 minutes and 44 seconds, shocking everyone. But of course, if you're like myself, it kind of had an idea. Maybe Kurara makes a long run in this. Obviously, I picked Ruaka, so so much for me saying it. But of course, if you believe Kurara, she continues to move forward in this tournament, setting her up to face Azusa Inaba in the semifinals. So before we talk about those matches, before we preview those matches, I just kind of want to give this idea of like what the Cinderella should be moving forward, because I do think there is a better idea of how to do this tournament now that we are here, now that we have transitioned this to a breakout style tournament. People have been talking about this for years with this tournament, and it's the idea of going back to the one night format that ultimately changed years ago. I never felt the need to. I just felt like the tournament needed to change if they wanted the multiple nights. And it feels like we've now made all those changes, right? It's gone from 10 minutes to 15 minutes to have more full on matches. They didn't get rid of the over to the top rope, but they don't really play to that as much anymore. And when they do, it's a pretty good dramatic spot. And they've made it short. It's 3 nights, simple in and out. The problem now, though, is that the, again, upper echelon of the roster is no longer in the tournament. So all these changes, to me, don't play to the benefit of the wrestlers. So my proposal moving forward is we bring it back to one night, and they'll never do this because They use the Cinderella to sell tickets, but again, I don't know how many tickets the Cinderella selling as a 3-night event rather than just being a one-night extravaganza just to highlight these wrestlers. But I pitch a one-night tournament in a smaller venue, so not necessarily this one, but maybe back to Cork and Hall like it once was, and really just running the old idea of the Cinderella, but with the breakout strategy of the young competitors going for the gold all in one night. I feel like that's more of a star making run right now with this lineup. Last year, I honestly thought with the way they did it, with that kind of lineup and the new rules, would actually have worked best, but that is no longer the case. So, this is my pitch. If we're going to make it a breakout, kind of one night, Cork and Hall, that's it. No, all the main eventers, they don't have to compete for one night. It's okay because you're going to sell the tournament. You're going to sell the tournament, the idea of it, someone winning, getting the wish, getting the moment. I think that works. You can put a title match in the end if you want to, still, to kind of help sell it. But that's kind of my pitch now for the Cinderella. I could be crazy, but I just feel like that would probably fit better after watching this through. But let's get to this upcoming weekend because the Cinderella tournament winner will be decided on Saturday. I believe the show starts at 3:30 a.m. Eastern for those wondering. Um on Saturday morning. So, if you want to watch it live, much like I do, that is the time to be up for. Also, I meant to just say the first show was really long. That's kind of why, like, I just make it a one night tournament to make the matches shorter because the show was long. And I watched it on delay. I didn't watch that live, so I can only imagine what people felt like on delay. But let's talk about the final night of the 2025 Cinderella tournament because I think the semifinal matches are very exciting, and I think they've put together an exciting card overall. So, match 0, the pre-show match will be Rina going one-on-one with Fukigen Death. Maika and Waka Tsukiyama will team with Hanako to face Tabata, Kira Kuragane, and Yuria Hime. But that's when we get to the first Cinderella matchup. And that, of course, if you're watching here on YouTube, it is Sayaka Kurara versus Azusa Inaba. Let's just say it how it is. What a big spot for Azusa Inaba, and honestly, very deserved. I think that should be something that's talked about here. Azusa Inaba over the past year has shown that she is awesome. Like, she is on a rise that I don't know if anyone was prepared for. I won't go as far to say she's better than Tomoka because I don't know if Azusa can have the big main event match like I've seen Tomoka have, like with Maika last year. But she's gonna be there very, very soon. Like, this is how great Azusa Inaba is and is going to be. She continuously stands out. I think making Devil and Princess, however you want to call it, making that a tag team was the best thing for both her and Rina. These are two wrestlers that are just competing to be at the top. And the fact that they're now both in the semifinals, again, paints a perfect picture for how great they are. Then, of course, you have Sayaka Kurara, the underdog, the storybook favorite, of course, with Tam Nakano back against the wall here. I think that it's pretty clear Kurara's winning here. I don't see them putting Azusa in the final. I think it'd be awesome. I think it would be so awesome if they did. But it feels like the Kurara story is too good to pass up, especially now that we're here, right? Now that we've gotten here, now that she's in the semifinal, you just kind of got to finish it up. You have to let it done. So I'm going to pick Sayaka Kurara to win this match, and I'm looking forward to seeing what these two are able to do because, like I said, Azusa has been awesome, and Kurara is the ultimate underdog that the crowd adores. Then you have the big time matchup. I don't think it gets better than this for any Cinderella matchup with big stakes. Once you get past the first, second round, whatever, and you get to that semifinal night, there's always one match that stands out. And it's not always the final. This case, I mean, come on. It is sister versus sister. It is the defending winner, Hanan, against maybe the favorite, Rina. in terms of, smart money betting type, whatever. You're seeing these 2 collide in the biggest match they've collided in yet, it feels like. I wish this was the final. That would be crazy. Like, what a crazy final this would have been, but it's gonna be emotional. It's gonna be awesome. Um, Hanan is looking to go back to back, and it would be silly to rule that out, I think. Um, but Rina is on a level that it feels like you don't wanna knock her off of. Seeing these 2 compete, seeing these 2 continuously have the best matches throughout the tournament, it's just a credit to who they are. This is the first of many major matches between the 2. It's just the start. Hanan's the ultimate babyface, Rina is the dastardly heel. They're 2 of the best wrestlers in the world. Like, that is the truth. You have 2 wrestlers here that have been wrestling for years, but they're both, you know, 20 and I think Hanan might have just turned 21, but 21 and under, whatever, you get the point. And they are 2 of the very best. They are able to tell stories, they are able to deliver in the ring. They get it. They just get it. Um, I said in the lead up to Starlight Kid and Rina, if Rina could reach the level of Hanan's first Wonder Star title match, we're there. Instead, to me, she surpassed it with flying colors and had the best match of the year. Now they step into this match. It's a real pick 'em. I don't think there's a wrong choice here. I think there's a believability that either one wins. I'm gonna go with Rina to win and set up the final between Rina and Sayaka Kurara. But I never want to root against Hanan, but I never want to root against Rina. So this is one of those matches where you just kind of sit there and like both have fun. That's the type of vibe we're in for this match, but I cannot wait. This is going to be a stellar, stellar Cinderella tournament bout. Then we have some more undercard. You'll have Mei Sarah, Azumi, Miyu Amasaki, and Tsuzu Suzuki. They'll team up to face Sayaka Kamitani, Nasukatora, Momo Watanabe, and Ruaka. That should be a fun one. You have a full stars tag, except for Hanan. It'll be Mayu Utami, Hazuki, Koguma, Saida, and Momokogo facing Syuri, Saki Kashima, Lady C, Tomoki Inaba, and Rana Yagami. Interesting that Syuri is paired up with Mayu Utani just days after the unofficial number 1 contenders IWGP Women's title match, which we'll talk about here in a second. I think this match is very notable as well. Maybe people haven't noticed, but it is Tam Nakano teaming up with Seriano to face Yuna Mizumori and Ai Sakura. So an all cosmic match up. Clearly, maybe telling the tales of Tam's soon to be retirement. Something to follow there. And then we have Mina Shirakawa versus Tekla in a big time singles match. This match feels like the match of 2 wrestlers who you probably thought weren't gonna be in Stardom much longer in terms of, Tekla seems to kind of want to go abroad. Mina has been going abroad, but the singles match has been made. The rules are simple. If Mina wins, Tekla's got to kind of repay for all the damages she's caused and apologize and all this. But if Tekla wins, Tekla gets a singles match with whoever she wants in Stardom. That's very obviously to me going to MOTYC. Which brings us to the obvious that I do think I do think Tekla is going to win this match and make the MOTYC match official. Maybe in Okinawa, maybe at Korakuen, wherever it is, it seems to be coming. So there's that. I just hope they have a good match. That's all I'm hoping for. Obviously, I haven't been as high on these 2 over the past couple months, but Mina's back. Mina's obviously a fan favorite. Tekla's the big heel. We'll see how it goes. And then from there, of course, we have the Cinderella Tournament final, which I have predicted to be Sayaka Kurara versus Rina, with Sayaka Kurara likely winning. I think that's where I'm leaning. My thought process here, and I tweeted it out on Thursday. So if you didn't see it, it is there. But the overall idea for me is that I think there's an incredible idea for, to me, for Sayaka Kurara to cash in her wish on facing not Starlight Kid for the Wonder, not teaming with Tam for the Goddesses, but going for Saya Kamitani and the World of Stardom Championship. Whether it be in the idea of redemption or whether it be in the idea of saving Tam's career and bringing her back. There are two ways to tell such a story, and both of them make all the sense in the world with a Sayaka Kurara. Sayaka Kurara, mind you, is a wrestler who has pinned Saya Kamitani before. Yes, it was tag team action, but it happened. And there's something crazy but awesome about the idea of putting Sayaka Kurara in a Cork and Hall main event against Saya Kamitani. There are two spots to do this. There's a Corkin at the beginning of April and the beginning of May. You follow up the Tam retirement with that match as a redemption spot, or you try to save it at the beginning of April with Kurara challenging first. I will also say this, and maybe this makes some Kurara fans sad, but this has been my pitch. Kurara should be destroyed in said match. I understand she's winning the Cinderella and whatever, but that match should be mostly a glorified, not squash, that's a little extreme, but it should be as 90-10 possible, with the few moments of hope being a big Sayaka Kurara spear that gets the Cork and crowd going crazy. And then, of course, a near fall at the end on a shock pin that again gets the crowd going crazy. Otherwise, it should be like sub 15 minutes, but it is Sayaka Kurara trying to redeem Tam or trying to save Tam, either one, by stepping up to Saya Kamitani. That is my crazy idea for the wish. That is the idea for the wish that I'm going with. I kind of like it. We'll see if that's what they do. But seeing I'm predicting her to win, that's where I'm going. If Rina wins, I'm guessing she's challenging for the Wonder of Stardom Championship at Stardom Dream Queen, All Star Grand Queendom 2025 and winning. If Hanan wins, which I won't count out, I don't think it's Naba's winning, but if Naba wins, I think she'd challenge for the Wonder. If Hanan wins, there are multiple avenues. She go back for the Wonder of Stardom Championship against Starlight Kid at All Star Grand Queendom. I think that's a fitting matchup between the two and a kind of a second chance, second year in a row for Hanan. Maybe she challenges Saya Kamitani. You know, she is someone I consider as an ultimate babyface. Maybe the next ultimate babyface post Tam Nakano. But there's avenues for her while she's also Goddesses of Stardom champion. Everyone feels like they have an avenue if they win, but I do think that if Kurara wins, her most interesting avenue is actually the World of Stardom Championship, which is crazy, but we know they like crazy. So maybe they consider it. But the main event on this show will be Starlight Kid defending the Wonder of Stardom Championship against Konami in her second defense. Some notable things going into this match. Starlight Kid is injured, as far as we know. She did have to miss the Strong Style Pro Wrestling Cork and Hall show on Thursday. She was at the team with Jaguar Yokota against Tiger Queen, who, of course, is Veni, as well as Nagisa Nozaki. She had to pull out of the match due to injury, so Azumi stepped in. She said she'd like to compete. She also confirmed that she will still be competing in this match against Konami. To me, it was always caution. Let's take her out. out of precaution for her, make sure she's good to go, a bump here or there. At the end of the day, Starlight Kid is as important as any wrestler on this roster, especially right now, because she's in two major selling matches. One here, and then one, of course, at Okinawa, which we'll talk about here in a second. Um, I like the preview work between these two that we saw, especially on Saturday and Sunday. I think there's a lot of good work to be had here. Obviously, Konami's going to work the arm, and there's a selling point there with Konami that Konami did injure Kyoko Kotatsu very recently, right? That is the selling point. She took her out of action with the arm attacks. And then there's Starlight Kid who's going to work the leg as she does in her matches. And we'll see who obviously breaks in. Again, there is no world I am taking this championship off of Starlight Kid. Starlight Kid, frankly, is my wrestler of the year right now. If you go look at my sheet, yes, Sareee is right behind her now, but she is currently my wrestler of the year. So I don't want to see her lose this title anytime soon. And especially with the big match we have coming up next week in Okinawa, I hope she gets through this match A-OK, because as we saw on Sunday, a massive match was made for the first night at Okinawa. It will be Saya Kamitani versus versus Tanjiro. I'm used to saying that after all these weeks. But at Spring Vacation 2025, Okinawa Day 1 on Thursday, 3:20, it will be Saya Kamitani going one-on-one with Starlight Kid in a special singles match. The World of Stardom champion against the Wonder of Stardom champion. I mean, folks, this is as good as it gets. And we don't have the titles on the line. We could just leave those out. But the story is very simple. Starlight Kid wants one more singles with Saya Kamitani before she potentially retires. It's a great, simple story to make this match happen. No titles on the line. You do it one-on-one in Okinawa. First time in Okinawa. Big selling point for that first show. Easy. I'm in. Let's go. I'm very excited for this matchup. The moment they started talking on that Sunday show, I said, hold on, wait a minute. This is what we're doing. They've been two of the best wrestlers all year, the two most important wrestlers right now in Stardom. So I cannot wait. Hopefully, Starlight Kid's good to go for that as well. But that's it for Stardom this week. Next week, I'll be back to review the Cinderella Tournament final on the Saturday, as well as whatever the full Okinawa Spring Vacation Day 1 show looks like on Thursday. We don't have a full card. We just have the one match as of this recording. So whatever we can get to, we will talk about. But that is a pay-per-view, so I will be able to review it next week. Next up on our menu here today of many, 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 many exciting topics. Maybe what you've all been waiting for, maybe not, because I did put out a check it out this week with my immediate thoughts on Syuri versus Sareee. But let's get some more thoughts out on this entire show. Sareee-ISM Chapter 7 continuing to be the best shows in the world today. This show is, of course, on Monday, March 10th, from a sold-out Shinjuku face, as it always is. 5-match card, as it always is. But there's a little bit I want to talk about from each match, so let's get to it here. First up, we had, of course, two matches. The opener was Misa Kagura versus Shaa. Listen, I haven't seen Shaa in a while, but I will be making sure to go out of my way to see Shaa moving forward. This was like a breakout type performance. This is why Sareee puts these matches on the card. She wants people to stand out. And Misa, I know what Misa's capable of. Shaa was originally supposed to face Victoria Yuzuki at the last Sareee-ISM event, and then she was hurt, so she had to miss the show. And, that allowed Miku Kane to step in, which, did big things for Miku Kane, obviously. But Shaa's awesome. I was like, outside of the main event, Shaa, I thought, had the biggest eye-opening performance for me. So I'm very excited for what her potential was. She did lose to Misa Kagura, but I thought their opening match was exactly what you want from a matchup like this and on a show like this. We then had Keara Ito and Jaguar Yokota team up. They faced Kohaku and Yurika Oka. Not a real shock that the Legends won this match, but always a good time to see Jaguar and Keara in there. No problems here whatsoever. Was a fun tag as always. Then we kind of get to the big three. So going into this show, I was kind of confident this would be the second best match of the show. I mean, just look at the names. You have Dash Chisako and Chi-Chi versus Nori Hana and Veni. I mean, these two teams are loaded. I've been on the Chi-Chi train since day one. I'm a day one Joshi Barbie fan. There is. Like, there's no one else. Or there probably is others. But I've been on the train day one. And I believe in her. She had a great showing here. Dash Chisako and Veni were kind of playing second fiddle to the younger competitors, which is crazy to say. Or the rookies, I guess, technically. But Dash and Veni, you know, they did their thing in this match as well. But I really loved the work between Chi-Chi and Hinori Hana. Chi-Chi ended up winning the match after Hinori Hana accidentally got kicked by Veni, and she pretty much got knocked out. So that was a funny moment. But a very strong tag match here in the middle of the show. Chi-Chi is the biggest staple on Sareee-ISM that isn't named Sareee. So, of course, it was good. Then we had the semi-main event, which was Sariano stepping in for the injured Natsupoi facing Miku Kane. This was the second best match on the show. Another in a row of kind of a breakout for Miku Kane. I thought her and Victoria Yuzuki was great last time around. I thought her and Sariano here was great this time around. Sariano was great at the match like this, where it is the rookie or the younger wrestler trying to fight up. And I think Sayori's great at bringing them up with her while also being nasty and attacking and great in her role. And it's good timing too, because if you follow me on Twitter or Blue Sky or whatever, you know that I have a Sareee interview out now. She talks about losing the Wonder Star Championship, the upcoming anniversary show for her and Natsupoi in May. So many different things. It was incredible. I love interviewing Sayori. I think she's always so great. Her personality jumps out, I always think, in her words. So definitely go check that out on Fightful.com if you haven't. I didn't get to ask about this match because the interview was done before this even happened. But yeah, I absolutely love this. Miku Kane is someone that you add to the long list of prospects that are very exciting in Joshi right now. I think she deserves as much respect as any right now. She continues to have incredible performances. And speaking of incredible performances, for the third Monday in a row, we had a match of the year contender. This shouldn't shock anyone, but of course, that was Sareee versus Syuri. If you listen to my check it out video over on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/@ScottEWrestling, you know how much I love this match. It shouldn't come as a shock. I essentially adore everything Sareee does, and I adore everything Syuri does when she's doing something. But this was just everything you could ask for. 30 minutes of storytelling, 30 minutes of violence, 30 minutes of drama, 30 minutes of emotion, 30 minutes of great professional wrestling. I explain it again, and I ask you all to go check out my check it out episode for this, because I think I kind of give a full depth conversation of why this match was so important. But for the sake of this conversation, I'll give a shortened version. Both of these wrestlers needed this match. Syuri has spent over a year kind of in the shadows, not in the world title fight, not in the IWGP title fight. Sareee, despite a MVP year in 2024, suffered 3 big time losses to Tommy Hayashishita, Meiko Satomura, and Veni. losing both of her titles and just kind of going back to square one. She went as far to take off February to bounce back, to work herself up, to ultimately then face off with Syuri in this match. Syuri kept at it. Syuri kept going. But both wrestlers want to be IWGP Women's Champion. Both wrestlers, I'd argue, need to be IWGP Women's Champion. Every minute of this match, you felt that. This was Sareee wrestling at her phenomenal level. This was Syuri wrestling at her phenomenal level, her big match level that made her the Wrestler of the Year in 2021 and 2022 in my book. This was Syuri just being Syuri, man. Like it's missed. If you weren't watching in 2021, especially the second half of the year, go back and do it. I know it's COVID era and people don't love that, but Syuri was on a level that I mean only Sareee has been on since. Like it was every single match. It was must see. It was amazing. It was top of the line. It was incredible. And she carried that for most of 2022. Syuri, you could see, was not only reminding herself how great she is, but you know, if you're gonna use me as a stepping stone, Sareee, I'm going to prove to you I'm much more than just a stepping stone. They battled and battled for 30 minutes. Slaps, headbutts, suplexes, submissions, everything you want. There was a true theme to this match, and it was struggle. Both of them struggled because both of them needed to win. And that's the beauty of pro wrestling. That is the wrestling at its very best. There is not a match I saw this week better than this one. There are a few matches this year better than this one, if any. Listen, I'll be perfectly honest. The match I favor over this is Starlight Kid and Rina, but that's an emotional connection that goes just a little bit deeper. But fundamentally, wrestling wise, there's nothing better than this. Sareee is the best wrestler in the world, and I say it every time she has a match because she proves it every single match. This isn't a normal run she's on. This is a legendary run from a legendary wrestler. These are two Joshi legends, soon to be legends, whatever you want to call them, at the top of their game, putting on a show in one of the best situations known to wrestling of the past decade. And that is a Sareee-ISM Shinjuku Face main event. There is nothing better than it. This goes up into the realm of great main events in Sareee-ISM history. The only match I'll put higher than this in Sareee-ISM history is Sareee and Mayu Utani versus Chiro Hashimoto and Venny, and that's because that's an all-timer tag. This is just another phenomenal match between two of the very best in the world. And I hope and I pray that this is only the beginning, that this is a story for both of them. I would do Syuri versus Mayu at Queendom. I would go that direction, have Syuri win the belt, and Sareee comes back around and beats Syuri for the belt. You could do it the other way. You could have Sareee face her, and then maybe Syuri wins the belt. But both of these incredible wrestlers need to be IWGP Women's Champion, and they need to be the next two. I don't care about the order. I just need it. They want to face again. Things were testy afterwards. They fought. They slapped each other. They weren't done after 30 minutes. And whenever they run it back, because they're going to run it back, it's going to be even better. The fact that they left room for greatness tells you that this was true, unbelievable pro wrestling greatness. If you haven't watched it, go out of your way to watch it. Like I said, it's two incredible pros going out there and doing what they were put on this earth to do, and that is wrestle. Sareee, the best in the world. Syuri, reminding everyone that she still very much is in that conversation. She just needs the chance to show it. She just needs the time to show it. She just needs the opportunity to show it. A truly sensational match. I love the 30-minute draw, by the way. I think it's great to create stories moving forward, and I hope that's exactly what they do. Sareee will have more for us very, very soon. So I'm excited to see her next directions, as well as Syuri's, because this needs to be continued. This was two too great to be stopped here. Now we get to TJPW Grand Princess 2025. Like I said, one of their biggest shows of the year. Don't worry, we'll be talking about the big 5 matches in depth here, but here's your complete card. We'll quickly go over the undercard before stepping into the big match previews. First up, you have Yoshiko Hasegawa and Mifu Ishida facing Shino Suzuki and Himawari. That will be in a tag team match. You'll have Kekaro Sakaguchi, Hirona Neko, Mahiro Kiryu, and Ivy Steele. They'll team up to face Uda Takami, Kira Summer, Kaya Toribami, and Chika Nanase in tag team action. Maxi Impaler goes one-on-one with Moka Miyamoto. I'm fascinated to see how that match goes. Aja Kong back on the card as well. Aja Kong will team up with Wakana Uehara and Yuki Kamifuku. They'll face Toga, Yuki Aino, and Haru Kazushiro. And then a setup All Asia Women's Championship match is going to be happening. It'll be Palm Harajuku versus Araku in that match. I'm going to guess Palm successfully defends, but we'll have to wait and see there. But let's get to the big 5, folks. This is the kickoff. Well, not the kickoff because I guess Stardom's on Saturday. But this is the continuation of just a sensational week of Joshi wrestling, Joshi big shows, Joshi major matches. A match pretty much 2 years in the making. It will be Willow Nightingale of All Elite Wrestling going one-on-one with Miyu Watanabe, the former Princess of Princess champion. This is going to be freaking awesome, folks. Like, I don't know Willow probably wins, but like this is it. This is it. When this was announced, it's like, okay, you have that staple big singles match now. They just happen to have 2. But this was supposed to happen at Summer Sun Princess or Wrestle Princess 2023. And it didn't, obviously, because Willow couldn't make it over for it. So now we're here. Miyu Watanabe is a different wrestler than she was then. She's a better wrestler. She is a proven wrestler. She's a championship wrestler. The same goes for Willow Nightingale. She's a proven wrestler. She's a winning wrestler. She's an amazing professional wrestler. I mean, folks, if this is the best match of the upcoming week, I don't think anyone bats an eye. I truly don't. I think everyone kind of might expect it to be the case. But in a week that has what is on the rest of this show, as well as Meiko Satomura versus Jiro Hashimoto, Veni versus Yumiko Hodo in a steel cage, it's going to be tough. It is tough competition, but that is the beauty of Joshi in 2025. It's all competition. It's all greatness. I'm picking Willow to win, but I cannot wait for this match. Probably my most anticipated match of the show, but there's plenty more where that came from. Speaking of which, we'll have Meiko Satomura's probable, maybe not, I don't know yet. Last, maybe, TJPW match going one-on-one with Yuki Arai. It goes without saying, I think, that this is, without a doubt, a massive opportunity for Yuki Arai. Massive. Like, it doesn't get bigger than this. You're facing the legend, Meiko Satomura, on the biggest stage ahead of her retirement. This is a match of what does Yuki Arai have in her? What can she prove, right? I thought the Aja Kong match was a chance for her to prove something, obviously, and they know that. Now they're setting her up against Meiko. Meiko ain't losing, I'll tell you that. But this is kind of, where is Yuki in her development, right? She's going full-time with TJPW for the most part. Retiring from her idol group. She's a favorite, I think, to win the Princess Cup and then the Princess of Princess Championship at the end of this year. But this is as big as it gets of a proving ground match. I think Meiko is going to do everything in her power to make her look great, and we'll see what Yuki Arai is able to put together when the match is all over. Then we'll have the International Princess Championship match. This actually might be my most anticipated match because Arisu Endo is my favorite TJPW wrestler. I think she's the best wrestler on the roster. Yeah, I go there. It's between her and Miyu. But Suzume is phenomenal. This is Daisy Monkey colliding. I'm so excited for this match. I love, love, love when Arisu Endo gets her opportunities to shine. And Suzume has had a strong run so far. Her title winning match against Yuki Arai was quite good. Her defense against Jada Stone was quite good. Now it's the Daisy Monkey connection here. Um, it's beautiful. It really is. I'm so excited for this match. I would love Arisu Endo to win, but that'd be too short for Suzume's title reign. So I do think Suzume is the one to walk out. And still, but I would love if we came back around at Wrestle Princess and we ran it back with Arisu Endo, maybe getting the win that time around. But I can't wait for this. If you are an in and out TJPW fan in terms of you just watch Grand Princess and Wrestle Princess, you are in for a treat. If you are a TJPW super fan, you know what this show is going to deliver. And if you're me, who does my best to cover, but isn't always into every show, admittedly, yeah, I'm stoked. Like, this is the most excited I've been for a TJPW show probably since Yamashita versus Ito at Wrestle Princess in 2021. So there's that. Shout out to my dog for barking mid recording. But this match, I can't wait. Suzume, Risu Endo. Suzume is gonna win, but like I said, might be actually my most anticipated. It's between this and Miyu and Willow, but should be awesome. But let's get to now the top two matches. The semi main event being the Princess Tag Team title match, Miyu Yamashita and Maki Ito going against the Max Heart Tournament winners Hyper Masao and Shoko Nakajima. Now listen, I am not always in to the comedy shtick matches. That being said, Hyper Masao and Shoko Nakajima are a very good tag team. I think they are better together than apart, at least for my preference. And I also know that 1 to a million Miyu Yamashita and Maki Ito are phenomenal. And their final match at the Max Heart Tournament in 2023 was fantastic. So I fully believe that this is going to be fantastic. And it should 100% end with Hyper Masao and Shoko Nakajima walking away with the tag belts finally after all this time. It feels like that storybook ending they're trying to set up, with most of the titles not changing hands, at least I think, unlike last year where they did all the big crownings. Um, I think this is kind of that moment to do that with Masao and Nakajima. And I think it should be a great match. Like I said, Shoko's at her best when she's in there with Miyu. Obviously, their rivalry speaks for itself. Maki Ito could still turn it on. I know a lot of people aren't as excited about Maki Ito this time around, but 1 to a million is awesome. So I have no doubt that this is going to be great. And I do think that we will have new champions. It feels like the right time to do just that. And then, of course, your main event of the evening, Princess of Princess Championship. Mizuki defends against Rika Tatsumi, her first defense since winning the title from Miyu Watanabe at the Itian show on January the 4th. It's been a long time since we've had a title match, but I don't think you can ask for much better than this unless it was probably like Yamashita. But Rika Tatsumi's right there for me. And Rika Tatsumi always brings it in the big title match. I think this has a chance to be really special, really excellent, and truly great. Truly great. Um, I just love what Mizuki did in that Miyu Watanabe match. It was one of the better matches of the year. And it's currently my TJPW match of the year. Between all the great matches on this show, while this might not be like my top anticipated match just because of how great the other two are for me, this this has all the makings of being a match of the year contender. Two of the very best in TJPW. I think Mizuki is determined to prove it this time around with the title reign, to have a greater title reign than her first. I think she's going to have the opportunity to do that now that she's facing Rika Tatsumi in match number 1. So, yeah, I'm pretty locked into this one. It should be fantastic. I expect it to be fantastic. And I expect Mizuki to successfully defend for V1. That is TJPW Grand Princess. You can check the show out live on Sunday morning over on Wrestling Universe. If you are subscribed, the show starts at 1 a.m. Eastern, 10 p.m. Pacific Saturday. For those who want to check it out, I know I'll be watching, I'll be reviewing the whole thing next week. So let's lock in, folks. Make sure you don't miss it. It's going to be an awesome show. Could be one of their great all-time shows, maybe their best yet. Speaking of their best yet, now we go over to Sendai Girls. I told you guys this card, there's just so much to this week. Sendai Girls runs the top of Joshi Wrestling on Wednesday, March 19th at Yoyogi National Stadium, second gymnasium or second stadium. I don't know. It's at Yoyogi. That's the best way I ever call it. It's at Yoyogi. It's a massive show, massive main event, but a pretty exciting undercard as well. First up, you'll have Maria go one-on-one with Minami. Like I said with Sareee-ISM, these are the matches you want to see. This is Marvelous's one of Marvelous's best against one of Sendai Girls' best. Should be an awesome undercard tag. Then you'll have the 4 rookie-ish wrestlers of Yuna, Hanoka, Yura Suzuki, and Zones team up. They'll face Veni, Lana Cross, Nina Samuels, and you. Originally, it was Hiroyo Matsumoto, but due to injury, Hiroyo Matsumoto had to be taken out, and Nina Samuels has filled in. I'm sure the vets will get the win there. Next up, you have more veteran match and Yurika Oka. It'll be Takako Inoue, Aja Kong, and Kyoko Inoue facing Chikayo Nakashima, Ryo Mizunami, and Yurika Oka. I'm very excited for this. Takako Inoue doesn't wrestle that much anymore, but anytime I go back into the old AJW days, Takako is always one of my favorites. So always exciting to see her compete. This should be a very fun trios match, which I expect the big 3 legends to win. And Yurika Oka is probably getting pinned because that's how the things go. But I hope Yurika Oka has a great showing. She deserves a bigger match on this card, I think. But with Mio getting hurt, that seemingly wasn't going to happen anymore. But I do wish she had a bigger match. You'll see Shin Sakura Hirota face Jaguar Yokota. I can't even imagine where this match goes, but should be fun. Obviously, 2 legends facing off. A lot of legends on the show, which is always very cool. I'm looking forward to this one. And then you will have the next 2 matches. Risa Sera goes one-on-one with Dash Chisako in a hardcore match. This rivalry started a bit during the last Prominence show when they faced off. I think this will be high quality, very exciting. I'm wondering if we get any color. Dash doesn't really do the color in her hardcore matches, but she's very good at them, obviously. But Risa Sera does, obviously in her death matches. So we'll see where we go here. But I expect this to be a lot of fun. A real, I don't want to say palate cleanser because I just think this show is going to be great. But it definitely is a different match from the rest of the card. So it should be a lot of fun. And then Stardom's Micah and Hanako, they will come in and try to take the Sendai Girls tag team titles away from Mika Iwata and Miyuki Takase. I'm kind of 50-50 split on who wins this match because in part of me thinks that to continue the story of Micah and Hashimoto, perhaps Mike and Hanako winning the tag belts here and then losing them to Team 200 kilograms makes sense. I see that as a real possibility. But then there's the possibility of Sendai Girls stopping them in their tracks before Micah maybe is Chihiro Hashimoto's challenger, and you do that at All-Star Grand Queendom for the Sendai Girls World title. Those are the things that are on my mind going into this. Obviously, Red Energy just won the title, so it'd be kind of crap if they dropped them immediately. But that is in my mind. I'll still pick Red Energy to win because I don't think they deserve a V0 title reign. But I would be shocked if there was a title switch here. Should be a very strong match as well. And then as I am billing it as your top 2 matches, you may not be. But we got a trilogy here, folks. And I'm not talking about Mako and and Hosh. We'll talk about that in a second. I'm talking about Aya Sakura versus Chi-Chi for the Sendai Girls World Junior Championship. This is what it's all about. This is what we've been building towards. Aya Sakura and Chi-Chi, these are born to be rivals. You know, I said it earlier, I'm always repping Chi-Chi, but I'm always repping Aya Sakura too. This match legitimately is one of my most anticipated matches of this next week. I don't know how long it's going to go, but I know it's going to be great. They're 2 for 2 in high quality. Obviously, their match at Stardom was great. Now we run it back here. Aya Sakura, third time's the charm, perhaps. I think it is. I think Aya Sakura is taking the Sendai Girls World Junior Championship from Chi-Chi in a shocker. It kind of breaks my heart because I want Chi-Chi to reign forever, but I want Aya Sakura to get her title too. So this is again one of those situations where I'm just hoping both teams have fun. But this should be great. This should be great. I legitimately put it like second to the top. Like this is awesome. This is about showing the future of Joshi. These two are among the incredible future for Joshi. So I'm very, very excited. And then finally, your main event of the evening. While this show may not be happening on Monday to make it 4 Mondays in a row of match of the year contenders, it's damn close. It's close enough. It will be Meiko Satomura going one-on-one with Chihiro Hashimoto for the Sendai Girls World Championship. I don't know if there's a match, maybe Sareee versus Syuri, but I don't know if there's a match that on paper you saw it and you're just like, oh boy, here we go. This could be the match of the year, more than this one this year. Meiko Satomura in her final stand. This is her final major stadium match. I think, at least, it definitely is in Sendai Girls, her promotion. And she's doing it against her protege, Chihiro Hashimoto. I mean, this is what it's all about, folks. Chihiro Hashimoto has not held this championship in what feels like forever now. 2023. After holding it for over 1,000 days, that's a long time. And for Meiko, this is kind of the official start of the end, I'd say. The official start of the end between these two and her official career. We know she is retiring. We know it's coming to an end. And we know that it's going to be pretty emotional. At least I think so. You look at the history between these two wrestlers, and in their first ever singles match in 2016, Chihiro Hashimoto defeated Meiko Satomura to win the Sendai Girls World Championship. You fast forward to 2017 with the Sendai Girls World Championship on the line. Chihiro Hashimoto beat her again. To give you an idea, fast forward to 2018 when they faced off for the Sendai Girls World Championship. Chihiro Hashimoto defeated Meiko Satomura again. This is a one-sided rivalry. This is a rivalry that is Meiko continuously losing to her student with this title on the line. And it's very likely that continues here on the biggest stage. I predict Chihiro Hashimoto will win the Sendai Girls World title from Meiko Satomura. I also predict that this will be indeed one of the great matches of the year and has a chance to be truly, truly special. This crowd is going to be at a fever pitch for Meiko. You know that. And I just cannot wait for this match, this show. It's going to be spectacular. It's going to be spectacular. Oh God, Sendai Girls rocks. You know that? And you know, we're just going to have to enjoy Meiko as much as we can. And this very well could be the last singles match between these two. We do know that won't be the last match between the two. We do know that they'll face off at Fortune Dream, obviously, in tag team action. But if this is the last singles match between the two, I expect them to leave everything out there one final time. Now we get to Seedling. Seedling, because they have a show on Thursday. Of course, they have a show on Thursday. Everyone's got a show if you haven't figured it out. But Seedling has a pretty big show here as well. Seedling is going to be back in Kawasaki, and this show will start with the debut of a new rookie, Yuki Funa, I believe is how you pronounce her name. She will be debuting against Miyuki Takase, so always exciting to get a new rookie in the world of Joshi. You also have La Padita and Ka Kadita face off with Na Sudita and a mystery Ya Masita. So we'll see who that ends up being. Maria Kuga will go one-on-one with Sendai Girls Yuna. So the rookies facing off here should be a fun one. Nori Hana will go one-on-one with Unagi Sayaka. Should be an interesting one as well. And your semi-main event is a big-time tag. It'll be Nagisa Nozaki. My brain is frying. Makoto, Ayami Sasamura, and Suki Aoki. They'll face off with Miku Kane, Misa Kagura, Mizuki Kato, and Yu in tag action. So this should be fun. But let's talk about this main event. This main event is gigantic. Veni will defend the Beyond the Sea Championship against Yumika Hota in a steel cage match. Originally, it felt like it'd be a death match. That is what they wanted. And they've instead pivoted to a steel cage. And how do you win? Do you ask? Well, there will be no pinfalls. It's winner by submission, knockout, or escape the cage. I don't know what these two are going to do, but based on what was ultimately their preview tag, it's going to be nasty. It's going to be exciting. Another match that can be a match of the year contender this upcoming week. And a match that honestly might be the most anticipated of them all. That's the crazy part. That's how crazy this match is. I'm really locked into this one. I think Veni successfully defends the belts, probably by escape, but my God, the way we've gotten here, the hatred between the two, Hoda not showing up but demanding a steel cage match. It's all going to be delivered inside that cage, and I cannot wait. We'll get to the final piece of the show here, talking Marigold. Marigold had some shows over the weekend, which included a Nanai Takahashi Passion Countdown match. She went one-on-one with Natsumi Shozuki. I found this match to be very solid, as you'd expect, as all Passion Countdown matches are. Suzuki showed a lot of fire, and you could tell it meant a lot to her. The first time these two faced off, and I think 13 years. So obviously a very big deal for Shozuki, and a big deal for Nanai. You know, Nanai ultimately won in the end, as she, of course, always does. But a good match and one of the noteworthy ones from the weekend. You also had a 6-woman tag as Rina Yamanaka made her Marigold debut, teaming with Mai Sakurai and Miku Ano. They defeated Chiaki, Misa Matsui, and Megaton. The main takeaway here is, while I think Arena Yamanaka looked a bit rusty, there's clearly bits to her game that are exciting. I liked her submission that she won with, and I also like her kicks. I think her kicks are pretty impactful, and she definitely connected with Megaton on the one she did hit. So fascinating to see what that looks like. She will be challenging Mai Sakurai at the upcoming Cork and Hall event on the 30th. That'll be a mega match as well. So I'm looking forward to that. Should be great. Should be great. Or interesting. I don't know if it'll be great. I don't know how. I don't know what Yamanaka looks like fully yet, but that's kind of the excitement for me as well. Is I think with Yamanaka, you're hoping by then she is fully figured out. She is fully locked in, because there's something there that's very exciting. She has very exciting overall offense, and I'm really looking forward to that. So we'll see when we get there, what the match ultimately looks like, because I do think that she's going to be a great addition overall to the Marigold roster as she continues to compete. Next up, you had the main event of Utami Hayashishita and Mirai losing to Bozilla and Nagisa Nozaki as Bozilla pinned the world champion in the middle of the ring. Obviously, a massive talking point here. Bozilla getting plenty of momentum heading into their big championship match. So I'm looking forward to seeing what that looks like, because I do think that their championship match has a chance to be Tommy's best match in quite some time. I've loved their preview stuff. I think there's something special there. That's also set for the Cork and Hall show. We don't have the full card yet. We'll probably have it sometime next week. If I had to guess, we'll talk about that. Give that a preview. Is that next weekend? Oh no, that's still 2 weekends away. So we'll give that a preview in 2 weeks time. But there's also another big match that we have to talk about there. But they also had a show on Sunday, continuing with the Arina Yamanaka, Chika Goto, Natsumi Suzuki, and Miku Ano. The continuation of the good guys um, against Darkness Revolution. Fine tag here. Nothing to necessarily write home about, but I thought Yamanaka started to look better again in her second match and so on and so forth. So baby steps, of course, as she heads to the Mai Sakurai match. But the big matches we really need to talk about from this weekend are the two big singles. One was Mai Sakurai versus Mirai, going to a 15-minute time limit draw as expected. I didn't expect a winner from this match, but I did expect this to be a solid one, and it was a solid one, but I think they obviously saved a lot in the tank. They talked about the next time they face off, they want this to be a bigger match. They want this to be a title match, and I think we're on our way to that destination. Maybe at Shine Forever, maybe that makes sense. But Mirai's so awesome. I just need to say that Mirai is so awesome, and she continues to be awesome in every match she has. Like I said, I think they were definitely saving a lot. But it's always cool to get a special singles like this. And then your main event from that show was Utami Hayashishita and Victoria Yuzuki going one-on-one. I thought this was very good. Victoria Yuzuki continues to make strides and continues to bring consistency to her matches. I think ultimately when I watch Yuzuki, I'm left kind of amazed at how confident she is. Not because it's a bad thing, it's a great thing. And it's something that I think carries her a step forward each big match she has. It brings her to greatness in each match she has because sooner or later, she's going to have just this amazing top of the line match because you could see the pieces coming together. And listen, I thought she had a great match on the Tuesday show, which we'll talk about in a second. But here, facing the world champion and being the aggressor and showing that fire, I think these two are such a great duo to move forward as the leads of Marigold. So I hope that continues. Obviously, after this, they'll kind of form. It feels like the top babyface unit whenever that comes around. But all my predictions of possible units and whatnot were not realized, but it's okay. But let's talk about the Shinjuku Face Show now here. The Shinjuku Face Show, I thought overall was indeed a solid show by Marigold. I think for them, what you're looking for, or at least what I'm looking for from them, is consistency and growth from the roster. Always, that's always what I'm looking for within their roster. And obviously, with the likes of Syuri Yamaoka around and not around, and other wrestlers not around, you're trying to see others step up in that case. So I thought that with the opening match, we kind of saw that. Rhea Seto getting a win, pinning Ryoko Sakamura, but Natsumi Suzuki was also in the match. I think Rhea Seto has been one of the benefactors from absences, and she's starting to make those strides. You also saw Mirai versus Yuki Minami. I thought Mirai did a great job at lifting up Yuki Minami in this match. Something that I think she's just really great at overall. Something that Mariah, I think, uses as a skill more than most. I think that's her. I think that's kind of what she has that maybe not a lot of others have, besides maybe Nanai, or at least none have better than her. We saw in the Sareee-ISM match, she's able to elevate the opponent. She's able to bring up the opponent a bit better than others. So I thought that was really good there. Then we had the latest match, which of course was the return of Kazuna Tanaka against Nagisa Nozaki. This entrance got me. If you're watching on YouTube, you could see here, this was a very emotional moment for Kazuna Tanaka. And it was an emotional moment for me. It's an emotional moment for me sitting here talking about it because you could tell how much this means to her. And, going down with that back injury wasn't something she wanted to do. It's why she kept fighting. She puts a lot of pressure on herself very clearly. Um, Obviously, with the parents she has, two accomplished wrestlers, you gotta remember the people first. And Kazuna is someone who very clearly loves pro wrestling and very clearly wants to be great at pro wrestling. And she's had a lot of ups and downs over the past year. She's been out of action a lot. So this return, you could see that emotion on her face just within the entrance. And she has every factor you need to be the biggest and best, purest babyface in the scene. Like, there is not ever going to be a world I will boo Kazuna Tanaka. And she showed it here against the ultimate heel Nagisa Nozaki, who didn't really care about any of that. But I thought Kazuna looked great. She looked great. She's added kicks to her game, familiar to, of course, her parents. Of course, there was a lot of Minoru Tanaka in her game this time around. She had a picture perfect bridging suplex or bridging fisherman, which was great. Ultimately, Nozaki put her away with her jumping kick, but I thought this was quite a nice return for Kazuna, who, again, I'm just so happy is back and competing, because the back injury was really scary. And seeing her emotion, you could tell it took a lot out of her not to be in the ring. And I'm happy she's healthy. I hope she's 100% now that she's back and taking care of herself. And I'm excited to see what Kazuna now brings to the table as she returns to the ring. So this was a great start for her. Then you had another preview tag. It was Utami Hayashishita and Chika Goto facing off against Bozilla and Misa Matsui. This was a win, another win for Bozilla as she pinned Chika Goto. A fine undercard preview tag, again, continuing the many preview tags. Had no problem with it. The only takeaway I have for this was I like Misa Matsui's hair. I thought I thought the new look was fun. Like, that was cool. I think Brazil and Misa Matsui would be a hell of a duo if they ever wanted to be. But yeah, that was a fine undercard tag. And then you had the semi-main event, which was another return for Chan Yoda. Chan Yoda teaming with Mai Sakurai and Miku Ano against Chiaki, Megaton, and Gigaton. Chan Yoda got the win for her team, pinning Megaton with the I don't even remember what she hit. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. But what I do know is that Chanyota is very much locked in with this promotion, as she should be. And I think that is exciting for her future. I'll also just say this real quick about this match. Not that there was really much to take from it, other than yay, Chanyota got a win, which is, again, what you want to see. I don't want to see Nao Shikawa in the Gigaton gimmick much longer. She is too valuable, is as now as Shikawa, to be doing this. She is someone that fans love. She is someone that, and her problem is she's very good at everything she does, but I'm building her for Mai, like, I want her to be challenging Mai Sakurai sooner rather than later, and not as Gigaton. So I'm hopeful that this is just a little thing to do for now. Maybe, something didn't work out and this is what it is for now. but I don't need Gigaton around all the time. I know it's comedic and I know people like it, but Nao Ishikawa is awesome, and I want Nao Ishikawa to shine as Nao Ishikawa. And then finally, your main event of the evening from Shinjuku Face on the 11th. By the way, you can watch this on Wrestle Universe. Naoya Takahashi defeating Victoria Yuzuki. Victoria Yuzuki, I think, is the MVP of Marigold so far this year. It just feels like every show they've had, she's had to step up. Every major show they've had, she's had to step up and be a main event star. And she's shining and she's delivering. I know she has her detractors. I know some people don't love her, and I will forever disagree with that, but I just think she's so great. And this match was a sign of that. Again, the confidence out of this world going one-on-one with Naoya Takahashi. There was not a part of her scared. There's every part of her ready and excited to bring the fight to Nanai. She brought the double chairs into the ring to slap the taste out of Nanai's mouth. She continuously went at Nanai Takahashi, attacking her legs, putting her in the figure four. She wanted to do everything that she needed to win. And listen, I think Yuzuki getting the big win in here would have been great, but I didn't realize what the post match was going to be, which I think up the stakes a little. And it was understandable why Nanai won. But this match was legitimately great. Well worth your time. I know not everyone is connected or clicked to Marigold, but that's why I'm here. That's why I'm here. That's why I cover it. Because I want people to be checking out the good stuff. I want people to be knowing that Victoria Yuzuki is indeed that rookie. I don't even know if we can call her a rookie anymore, the way she's stepping up. But she is, and she is continuously shining. And there are some exciting matches coming her way very, very soon. But let's end this show with the biggest talking point for Marigold. And that, of course, is the invasion. The invasion of Marvelous. It's only fitting that I put the graphic over the match because that's just kind of how it felt after the great match. By the way, they were in the front row the entire time. Takumi Iroha, Miya Momono, Ai Hozan, Maria, Riko Kawahara, Sora Yame, and Senka Akatsuki, all in the front row at Shinjuku Face, watching along once again, enjoying the show until Nanai called them in, and that's when it was on. Takumi Iroha talked down every bit of Marigold, and the war is now on. It will be Marigold versus Marvelous. Takumi even said in a Tokyo Sports article, a lot of their rookies wouldn't even have debuted in Marvelous yet. Like these are fighting words. They are going far. A full out brawl happened. Sanka, the star rookie that she is, she's as good as any rookie in wrestling today. Just an incredible prospect. She had her singlet on and just took Nanai down. It was unreal. It was unreal. I was like, holy shit, that's crazy. And it just kind of gets you excited. So on the 30th, Marigold's Cork and Hall show, it will be Marigold versus Marvelous. We don't know the match participants yet. It just breaks my heart, though, that every time we do this, whether it's in Stardom, whether it's in Marigold, anytime that Rossi and Chigusa Nagayo are seemingly working together again, Mio Momono is hurt. It breaks me because Mio Momono needs to be here. The beauty, though, is she's here. At least she was here at the event, which gives me hope that someday, some way, we will get her in matches. Give me Mio Momono more in big matches, please. Anyways, after the big brawl, the match is made, and there's so many opportunities here for Marvelous versus Marigold. Obviously, Takumi Iroha in a big singles against whether it be Nanai, Utami, those are the ones people are going to go to. I, however, instant thought, give Magenta the Twin Star belts. Have them take them from Nanai and Sareee Yamaoka. And also, hello, Sareee Yamaoka versus Sanka Akatsuki. That is gigantic to me. That to me is Nagayo and Ogawa knowing what they have with those two, and we are going to make that something for years to come. With Sanka getting involved here, taking down Sareee Yamaoka's tag partner, her teacher, her trainer, in this match, it to me sets up the big time face off between those two that we're going to be on our way towards. I'm so excited. This is the boost that I needed. This is the boost that I wanted. It is a boost I've been talking about. It's a boost that they've all been talking about. Takumi and Atami have named each other a million times over the past couple months. We are here. We are here. To me, Takumi Iroha versus Mirai is something very interesting for maybe Shine Forever. But I'm not kidding. Magenta win the Twin Stars from Nanai and Sareee. I think that would be exciting. I love the Marvelous roster. Like, the Marvelous roster is awesome. So any involvement they have in Marigold moving forward and vice versa, gonna benefit each other. So this is one of the most exciting stories of Joshi right now. And it is, for me, the perfect way to conclude in a very exciting upcoming week of Joshi. But I'm so excited for this. I am so pumped for this. You should all be too. But like I said, watch Nanai versus Yuzuki and then watch this, because there is real excitement here. There's real fire here. This is what it's all about. I cannot wait. So with that, I'm done. Oh, hello. I am done. This was a long episode, long solo episode. This is the longest solo episode I might have ever done. But I loved doing it. Thank you so much, everyone, for listening. Next week, we'll be back to review the Cinderella finals. We'll be back to review TJPW Grand Princess, Yogi for Sendai Girls, Kawasaki for Seedling, any other news bits that come up, anything else that's happening. Like I said earlier, please make sure to check it out. Literally check it out on my YouTube channel. Very much worth your time if you haven't. Please check out my YouTube channel if you're listening on MP3 and haven't yet. YouTube.com/@ScottEWrestling. We got 2 videos up per week. That is always the goal. I have some exciting things coming up. I'm going to get back into my AJW watch throughs and do some reviews for that and do some watch alongs for that. So definitely do make sure you subscribe, like, comment, all those good things. If you're already watching on the YouTube channel with this, thank you so much for continuing to show support. It means the world to me. I absolutely love Joshi Wrestling. That is what this podcast is for. That is why I've rediscovered why I love doing this podcast over this past 3 months. I love Joshi Wrestling, and it is the best wrestling in the world, and they have reminded the world of that in 2025. There is nothing on its level right now, and you all need to check it out now. So thank you, everyone, for listening. I will be back next week to talk all those reviews and so much more. Oh, Stardom Okinawa as well. They just keep popping up, but I can't wait to come back. Maybe we'll have a guest, maybe we won't. There's a lot next week, so maybe we probably won't. But I'll be back to review it all and preview whatever is upcoming. So until next time, everybody, so long. See you later. Bye-bye.